Hello everybody, welcome back to Hyper Lemon GT. Today we're literally going straight in, 12 seconds of practice before we do a daily race B. Now 12 seconds of practice probably isn't enough, but this video I think is relatively interesting. We're actually going to show you kind of the progression of having a little bit of practice. So obviously we're going essentially from 12 seconds of practice here, and then we'll show a few different races and show the evolution of the pace and how much more fun the races get as you get a little bit quicker as well. So the first couple of races, not all that interesting, but the last race, which starts at about 7 minutes in, really interesting, worth the watch I think. So as we said, today at Daily Race B, we're at Road Atlanta in the Group 3 cars, and it seems like the Genesis X is the car of choice this week. Now I don't really know where Genesis X comes from. Is it a car that exists in real life? I'm not sure. But I've never driven this car and track combo. I've driven them individually. I've driven the car only a little bit, so I wouldn't expect to be on the pace here. So starting in P16, as was expected, without qualifying, in a reasonably tough split, so quite a few A+ and A drivers in here. I'm back down to A now because doing stupid things like zero practice before a race doesn't help your rating, but I'm not here for the ratings anyway. So away we go, following the Turk. Pretty poor line around that first corner. I lost a lot from the people in front there. Missed the curb massively there. And here, can I keep it flat? No, a small lift, but not too bad. Getting that corner reasonably well. Now around this one, I just keep turning left. On the power too early. The back comes around, and that was that. So I did finish that race, 7 more laps, and then I jumped into qualifying, and here's the end of my qualifying. So I got down to an 18.4 after 5 laps of qualifying. So I'm now 12 laps of practice in, and that qualifying got me one position. Excellent. Starting P15 instead of P60 this time, and starting behind the Turk once again. Really I could have got a very slow qualifying time and still started in this position, given that the person behind me had no qualifying time either. So not really much progress after those 12 laps, but let's see how this race pans out. So as we said, starting behind the Turk, 3 seconds, 2, 1, and off we go. So the start of this race, I think is quite nice how they've done it. You do seem to start a little bit quicker than the person in front, so the pack bunches up by the time you get to turn 1. So there can be actually overtaking opportunities into turn 1, which is quite nice. So I got that corner a little bit better then, and then I just brake too late, stupidly, and then it crashed into the back of the Turk, and then Constantina effect, the German crashes into the back of me, and I think he gets a penalty as well. It wasn't his fault though at all. So that race is pretty much ruined. I made up a few positions, lost a few positions. Wasn't worth watching. So now I decide to go into qualifying again. This time I'm selecting a ghost car of somebody around the top 400, top 500. Unfortunately they are in a Nissan GTR, so the pace is going to be different in different areas. I couldn't find somebody with a ghost car in a Genesis X who wasn't top 10, and I don't want to look at top 10s because they just pull away so far you can't see them. But I find that getting somebody who's about a second quicker than you at this point is actually really helpful. So I found this Nissan GTR. We're following him around. He does the first corner quite nicely. I gain nicely on the second corner there. And throughout the lap, I think reasonably quick lap. And what do we get? We get a 117.7. So quite a bit quicker. I think that took me from 4,000th in the world to 700th or something. and that put me on P1 for the next race. But you got to note here that is P1 on a lower split, so it's A's and B's this time, as opposed to being A's and A pluses. So not quite as strong a pack, and I think the person behind me qualified, what, 3/10 slower than me? So let's see if they can keep up. And now how many laps have I got under my belt? So we had 12 plus another race, which took us to 19, and then a couple more qualifying, 21 laps I think under the belt now. So hopefully a little bit more consistent and less crashing. So away we go. On the first lap, I generally try to stay a little bit cautious for the first few corners. Don't want to make any mistakes. Don't leave any doors open for the drivers behind. So taking it easy, keeping it clean, and we skipped to the end of the race. So about 7 seconds in front. Massive oversteer. Almost lost it there. But obviously a little bit more consistent this time, and winning the race by about 6 seconds. So a big improvement there. It's quite nice to win something. I only think win 10% of races or so on Gran Turismo. Now, what did that do for us? Well, that put us P14 for the next race, as they gave us a stronger split. More A plus and A in this race. And the Swede who qualified in P1 looks like he had a 17.3 or something. So he had a 17.4 and I had a 17.7. So the pack is really quite tight. Like 0.4 of a second-ish are covering the entire grid for qualifying. So everybody here is pretty level on pace. And this race, I think, is quite interesting. There's a lot of kind of carnage and things going on, but it is a fun race, I have to say. So starting in P14, which is not much better than what we started in the first race without qualifying, we are in a strong split. So away we go, chasing down the BMW Kamikaze here. Hopefully he doesn't do kamikaze moves if we do overtake him. So this car is quick in a straight line, so we're gaining. I have a think about going down the inside, but then back out of it, because at this point in the race, it's most likely just going to be a crash and lose time. And again, being cautious here, braking a little bit earlier, trying to avoid an accident, like in the second race. No overtaking opportunities here at all anyway. So coming out of this corner, get a little bit of oversteer. Somebody has turned right into the barrier and somebody has ghosted out. Now that takes us to P12, and now I brake a little bit late and I end up on the outside, which is not the ideal position to be in. The Genesis on the inside tries to take me, but he spins out. But now I've got a good slipstream, but not really anywhere to go. I can't get around the BMW, so I'm just gonna follow the quicker car. Oh, somebody ghosted out, took another position there. And then I brake late again, as it was a mistake honestly, but I did take a couple of positions from that. So now up into P8. Bit of a cheeky move, was an accident, late braking, but nonetheless didn't take anybody out. Now we've got a good run on the GTR there. Go down the inside, a little bit of contact, but to be honest he didn't really leave any room, so I'm not going to put that on myself, that one. Taking a nice amount of curve there, now up into P7. So started P14 up to P7 in actually just over a lap, so not so bad there. Getting some good pace out of that corner, and now somebody's going slow. It's the Swede who started in P1, so he's pretty quick. He might overtake rather quickly, but anyway, we're up into P6. Got to keep it tight on this corner, get the power on. And it looks like the Swede had a bit of a movement there in the mirror, and yeah, we've got a good gap. Skipping a lap forward, these gaggle of 3 drivers were just battling hard. slowing each other down quite a bit. So I managed to catch up, and now we're in the slipstream. The Spaniard has a half-second penalty, so if I just stay in the slipstream, he'll ghost out and I'll take the position. He moves over, and now we're up into P5. Getting a good run on the BMW in the slipstream here, and then stupidly I brake late again, but don't crash into anybody. I managed to avoid everybody, and then I get some big oversteer, and then the Spaniard comes back around me. So we're back into P6. Quite a few mistakes now, right? Braking late twice, oversteer too much once. I'm pushing quite hard in this race, to be honest. And reasonably quick here. Not a whole lot to report at this point, but those two in front are battling hard, and we do have the Swede coming up behind quite quickly as well. So going out of this corner, oh, the Spaniard makes a mistake, and he doesn't defend to the death like people usually do on Gran Turismo. But what he does push me out of the way. So lost a position to him. Now the Swede is on the inside, lost a position to the Swede as well. Spaniard has a poor exit, I have no choice but to bump draft him, and then somebody ghosts out. So the net result is I'm back up to P5 now. I have nowhere to go here, I can't turn right because the Swede is there, and I just continue bump drafting the Spaniard. Getting a bit chaotic behind 5 of us going into this corner. I bump him twice, brake late, that was a pretty cheeky move. And then, oh, another Genesis tries to push me out of the way. He spins out. He tried to capitalize on all of that carnage. Ended up spinning. I ended up losing a couple of positions, so back into P7 now. Gaggle of 3 cars, quite a distance away, skipping a lap forward. So the Swede and the Spaniard were fighting hard. Spaniard makes a mistake, visits the barrier, and that crash would have been pretty bad in real life, wouldn't it? Wow. But we're not in real life, so he's survived it. Now the Swede here is pretty rapid, as we said. He qualified in P1. He's obviously had a very chaotic race. We skip a lap forward, but I managed to catch up with him. But he does turn 1 just so much quicker than me. And then we're actually gaining on the 2 cars in front as well. So in P6 at the moment. But there is an opportunity here to gain a couple more positions, I think. But then what happens? Stupid mistake. Again, turning right into the barrier, just on the power too early. Lost 1-2 positions there. I was pushing hard. That's again too many mistakes in this race, but I still find it quite a fun race. And then Joe Specialista there, he just decides, let's just ram Hyper Lemon out of the way. He did apologize later, but yeah, I mean, he could have given the position back maybe, but I guess maybe he did what I did before, right? Maybe he just broke too late by accident, so let's not hold anything to him there. So into P9 now. It doesn't look like there's much opportunity to gain any more positions. We have a Porsche who's coming up quite quickly behind me, and then oh, the poor Swede, another event has happened. So he managed to get down the inside of the Swede and take P8. So quite a chaotic race there. Started P14 up to P5 at one point, actually 2 points I think, and then ended up finishing in P8. Really enjoyed that race. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and hope you enjoyed your day as well. And if you did like the video, feel free to subscribe, like it, comment, whatever. But just enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.